play some Starhawk. This game is coming out like in a couple days.
In a couple days, May 8th here in North America. So
Very
nuts.
Very exciting. And we're gonna jump into some of the single player campaign here.
Yeah. Why don't we show? I mean, of course, a lot of players know that we have great multiplayer in Starhawk, and I think what a lot of players are expecting from our single player experience is just kind of a pulled, out of the ass single player tutorial, whatever.
Like, hey, we're gonna get you up to speed for multiplayer.
Right, and certainly we do want players to get up to speed for multiplayer.
Because that multiplayer is fast.
It's fast and it's intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
true.
you've been playing with the testers, so like experts for 2 years. No matter what you tell them, okay, be easy, be gentle. They're not gentle with you.
It's a little rough.
There's no spooning a tester.
No, but it's battle, virtual battle.
It is virtual battle. So back to, if we can digress from spooning.
Yes.
Maybe.
Okay.
So our single player campaign tells the story of Emmett Graves. He's kind of our hired gun. You'll see him here on the live stream on the internet. It's subtitled for those of you who can't hear me. It goes on and tells a little bit of the story behind Emmett Graves and basically what's motivating him through this kind of space western tale. And all the different missions play out very differently. I skipped the cinematic because people want to see live gameplay.
Yeah, you give a little taste of it.
Yeah, and then
we'll get into the shooting and the
So
driving.
we'll jump into one of the missions, and what's really awesome about the single player campaign in Starhawk is it's incredibly diverse. You've got ground combat, third person action, vehicles, tons of different weapons, air combat, but in addition to all of that, and I hit all the talking points, so like I get a little Sony bonus maybe for that. You also have build and battle, which is kind of like the hallmark of our core mechanic in Starhawk, which allows you to build structures on the fly in the battlefield.
And by build, you mean radio up to your buddy who's in low orbit and have him shoot down.
Right, it's like calling movie phone, but instead of getting a showtime, I need a big, huge mech.
You get a
Or
turret.
I need a bunker or something like that.
And it just comes screaming down, and Lord help you if you're standing underneath it.
Right, you can get crushed. There is a trophy for getting crushed.
For getting crushed?
Yep, if you, well, not getting crushed, that's a pitiful
I was gonna
trophy.
say,
But
crushing there just waiting
crushing
for
someone else with it. So let's go through here. This is one of the missions. I won't, go into a ton of the story details, but we're on the planet of Scourge. And there are some rifters there, which are some of the human colonists that are mining rift energy. And these little glowing guys off in the distance are outcasts. They were once human, but got exposed to rift energy and they became mutated.
Made them all angry and scabby.
And, well, yeah, we call them scabs. So, of course, they're working me right now. I'm not in easy mode, so if I die, don't ridicule me.
Nope, sorry, no deal.
Great. So I'll bring up my build and battle wheel, and it's just like selecting a weapon from an inventory, except that I can select a structure. So I'll go ahead and place a structure on the battlefield. This is a sniper tower. You see it crush that foundation. It builds a sniper tower on the fly. All the AI know how to use it, and at the same time, the sniper tower, what weapon does it come with? You want to guess?
Rocket launcher.
Yes, you nailed it. Perfect. No, it comes with a sniper rifle. I know
Sorry,
it's a little bit complex, but you can see the AI guys. There goes Troy, just like an AI
Troy and
bot.
Truett.
Troy, they're up there, and they've got sniper rifles. Let's go see what they're doing. Let's hopefully, and they can get kills for me too. I've got to.
And they can get killed too.
Oh yeah, they get absolutely killed. Later on in the game, you unlock a build and battle part called Outpost, which allows you to respawn AI units. Oh, he ducked. I gotta be careful what I say. This is live TV, isn't it?
Well, also, cursing your own intelligent AI here.
I know. Well, that's good. Our AI programmer would be happy about that. Our AI ended up being a really big challenge for us. Oh, right over his shoulder.
Fire one across
Got
the
him.
bow.
Yeah, warn him.
Put the fear of God into it.
I think he's an AI. I don't know if he ever has fear. At any rate.
Dodging that enormous philosophical wormhole.
Yes, absolutely. Almost as philosophical of a wormhole as what's better, inverted or not inverted.
Oof.
Right.
Let's not go down that road again.
So what we're seeing here is, again, as I mentioned, there's a ton of different gameplay mechanics in Starhawk. So it's really kind of a full scope of war game with building and vehicle combat and the whole 9 yards.
And you're not building something now, but you very well could.
But
You
I
could just
totally
call
could.
down
I mean,
that.
like, for example, let's say I'm a player who I want to enjoy this shooter, but maybe I'm, not so fast on the controller.
Maybe I'm demoing it live on the
Maybe I'm
internet.
doing it live. See, look what I did. I've got my AI guys helping me out, and I've got this auto turret that I just built there.
So helpful.
But there's way more to it than just auto turrets, because little turrets like that are available in a lot of games. That's like, our whole game is based on just little auto turrets. I mean, we can do all kinds of stuff like, I want a supply bunker, let's say right here, because I want some better weapons. This thing actually does have a rocket launcher.
Whoa.
So you can see it flying down from space. It builds a structure on the fly. That was my transformer.
And you can run right into it while it's building.
Yep.
You don't have to
and
wait
it's
for
covered.
the stuff to, the scaffolding to go away.
Absolutely.
It all happens really quick and encourages you to keep going very fast.
and that's something we did very intentionally. We didn't want to kind of bring the aspects of RTS over in a way that felt slow or mundane or managey. There was a maxim that the development team had throughout the course of the project, and that was to make building structures on the battlefield just as fun and just as fast as pulling the trigger on a weapon. So, now this is one of the setups that you would have for build and battle. You've got this large pump here. You've got to, of course, throw the switch, right? And that gives you the thing that you've got to protect. And we kept the objectives, the actual objectives in the single player mission, pretty simple, because what we found through playtest is there are a lot of players that are still really conditioned to playing your standard off-the-shelf shooter.
Sure.
And so we felt that we wanted to keep the objectives themselves relatively simple so that players could really focus their efforts on doing the problem solving and the combat challenge that was build and battle.
So in this case, the objective is throw the switch, defend the thing.
Absolutely, at its most mechanical kind of game designy level.
Right.
You've got a MacGuffin, right? And you've got to defend it. And so what happens is Cutter, who's your gear man up in the dropship in orbit of the planet, he's calling out and telling you where the different enemies are going to attack and what type they are. And then you're given essentially a period of time where you can build and prepare your defenses.
Which is now, go.
Which is absolutely now. So go ahead, now ask me the most complex questions.
Well, now we're going to check in with Cynthia because, as you folks know, this is live right now at Tuesday, 11 a.m. Pacific, and we are monitoring chat rooms on YouTube, Twitch TV, and on GameSpot. We've got a new commenting system that is it live, Cynthia? Are we up with that?
I believe it is live and up and running. It looks like it's fully functional. Hopefully it doesn't break.
Very cool. But yeah, you guys want to ask Dylan some questions about Starhawk, want to interact with the show. Cynthia is your conduit to us. So what are folks saying?
So we do have a question from a YouTube user asking about multiplayer, and if you could just go into a little bit of detail, like local, is there split screen, how's that working exactly?
Yep. So of course there's multiplayer. You can go up to 32 players, a bunch of different modes. We've got our classic capture the flag mode, which is tried and true. We've got a really great territorial conquest mode called Zones, which is a carryover for what we did in Warhawk. There also is a co-op mode that allows you to play 2-player split screen locally or 4 players online.
Is that for campaign levels?
No, we actually did a completely separate mode for campaign, because the story in, I'm going to die because I'm answering questions, but the story in single player is meant and crafted for 1 player. So we didn't want to have...
You're Emmett.
You're Emmett, right. So when you play co-op, you're playing the different rifters that are running alongside with Emmett. I need to put a turret down there.
Yeah, just throw some turrets down.
Yeah, let's do that.
Give you some help.
And you know what? I'm out of Rift Energy, so let's go ahead and let's get some shotgun action. The currency in the game, I'm going off question here, is Rift Energy. And you basically pull the trigger, you kill people to build, and you build to kill more people. See all that green, the teal energy that's shooting off there? That's the currency in the game. And I collect it, and then I spend it on structures in the game.
And you don't have to go running to collect it.
No.
You kill a guy, that energy's coming to you no matter where you are.
No matter what. Even if you're in the air and I'm going to die, I just got shot in the back.
But now we get to see them like taunt you.
And then it's going to go back to
up close and personal with this guy.
There's nothing worse than being taunted by an AI.
Speaking of getting
Thanks
taunted,
for putting that in there.
So users are wondering if there's how the difficulty scales. So is there like an extreme hard mode for people who want a super challenge or anything like that?
Yes, there are a couple different difficulty modes. And in fact, if you actually bring up your uplink, which is like your iPhone or Android device, you can look at the different missions in the campaign, and you unlock different medals depending on the level of difficulty that you beat the game. And there is a ton of replay because the game is so open-ended with how you choose to attack the kind of combat challenges. There's a ton of different replay there. You can, attack the combat puzzles a bunch of different ways. If I just want to sit up here and build a tower and snipe guys, I totally can.
Can you build a vehicle?
I can. Cutter, because he's a stingy gearman, he hasn't given me any vehicles, but I'm going to get some vehicles here in a little bit.
Okay. So this is like a combination of what, like tower defense, Warhawk, Erzog Zui a little bit. Is there anything that is there any specific game that you jumped on, or is it just like?
We had a bunch of games in mind.
Okay.
Of course, Warhawk. We always say that this is the spiritual successor, but it's not a direct sequel. And we looked at games like Plants vs. Zombies even, where you have a concept of, you have a group of AI entities that are going to be attacking from a specific location, and then you have to, use whatever, in their case, seeds to attack the enemies. And so Plants vs. Zombies, we looked at a bunch of different tower defense games. And Warhawk were the main things. And of course, you can't help but be influenced by some of the turret down there. You can't help but be influenced by some of the classic games that really started some of the building, like Battlezone for the PC.
Yeah.
Or Section 8 had, you could bring in a vehicle.
Yeah, that's true.
Place down a turret. But I think, one of the things we're really proud of with Starhawk is not only how all of the build and battle integrates with the single-player gameplay, but the multiplayer gameplay, the AI, and the depth that the building structures actually go through. I mean, we can go, let's see if I can do this over here. You'll see these things in the environment, like these little socket points here. Those are places where players can create watertight barriers. So if you want to spend some of your Rift energy to create a choke point and wall off a section completely, you can. And all of these systems work in multiplayer as well. So you can really help build up not only the layout of your base, but set specific choke points. And you just saw there, I actually took a wall and upgraded it to a gate. So
which is definitely helpful in multiplayer, especially when you've got a bunch of vehicles riding around, because you've got land-based vehicles like little hover bikes, you've got jetpacks, you have a heavy tank, you've got
it's a cornucopia.
It is.
Yep, Sidewinder jet bike. It's a real fast one-person vehicle. We've also got a huge tank. It's got a great artillery mode on it. And of course the Hawk itself, which can fly around and stomp and transform into a mech and everything.
And so
hopefully I get one of those here. I'm gonna.
Was like Starscream was a really big inspiration for you guys on that one?
Starscream?
The Transformer, the Decepticon?
No.
No?
I was never a fan of Starscream. He always just seemed like super whiny.
Yeah.
In the cartoon anyways. But
we don't know how he is in real life.
Dude.
We don't want to insult the real Starscream.
Right. We'd have to go back into the past to find out.
Yeah.
Really what Starscream was like.
All right, Dylan. Well, Starhawk, just out in about 5 days.
It's out on Tuesday.
Tuesday in North America?
May 8th, North America, yep. And worldwide, over the course of the next couple days.
Very cool. There's your look at Starhawk, folks. Dylan, thank you so much for coming on, showing it off.